Hi, this is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John DiNallo. And let me just tell everyone out there, okay? I think there's a full moon
Oh,
because nothing is going the way it's supposed to. But you know what? That's strange. We do strange things on this show, right?
exactly. It's our motto. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. Today, emphasis on strange. So yeah, it's me, Paul Seaburn, the host of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. I said our motto once, I'll say it again. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. I'll try to explain what's going on. The first voice in your ear, as always, was our producer, Karen Hale, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, which is our platform. Karen is also one of our co-hosts. She's got a bunch of really great podcasts besides ours, of course, on newclevelandradio.net. So the first thing we always like to remind you is go to newclevelandradio.net. You can see all the places where you can listen to us or watch us on YouTube, which we always like to remind you to do because I have pictures that go with our stories. I'll try to describe them to you, but it's always fun to take a look at the pictures as well. So newclevelandradio.net, don't forget that. Also, there's another voice coming into your ear at some point here, John DiNallo, our color commentator and host of What in the World of Sports. Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, Paul and Karen, and ready for another great show.
All right, good. Well, we're giving John what would be the word for it, Karen? I don't know. John can see us, but he's not going to be able to see the photos. So I'll be describing the photos to John as well. That's part of the strangeness that we were talking about, with some kind of the technical glitch that is only affecting poor John. So, he'll take all the sympathy he can get.
Wasn't it a song for John?
Poor John, I don't know. There was a show called Dear John.
Oh, that's
Uh,
right. Okay.
Right.
yeah, and there was a song called Big John, Big Bad John,
Yeah,
which is
that's it.
There you
which
go.
is not
There
our John. He is
Hey, was Dear John? Who was the actor in that series, Paul? Do
Judd
you?
Hirsch.
Oh,
Oh,
Phil
right, that's right, Judd Hirsch. Right. Okay.
Hirsch. Yeah.
From Taxi, right?
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
And Big Bad John, who sang Big Bad John? That was
Oh yeah.
I was going to say it was John Wayne, but it's not John Wayne.
No,
It
no,
was something
no.
like
Was it
Tennessee Ernie.
Johnny Cash?
Uh, same kind of voice, but I don't think it was Johnny Cash either. It was like it was almost like maybe it was Fess Parker or some actor. Uh, okay,
I
well,
have to look it up.
by the time that's right, by the end of the show, we'll have the answer for you. And what a show we have! We better get to it. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to tell you? Well, we're normally on at 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time. We're in the Northeast Ohio area. So we have a lot of fans in Northeast Ohio that like to listen to us live. Unfortunately, we're recording today, so you'll be listening to us in the future. Uh, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me at paulseaburn.com, at my website, with links to uh, newclevelandradio.net, with links to Mysterious Universe, where I do a lot of writing on paranormal things. Also to Amazon, where my book is listed. And we'll talk a little bit about my book later. Karen, do you have an answer?
Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean.
Okay.
Whoa,
Very good. Very good, Karen. Very good.
sausage guy. Wow.
Yeah.
Before he was the sausage singer, he was a major singer.
Yeah.
Wow. Jimmy Dean. Okay. All right. Karen is already ahead and Bluff the co-host here. You get a tenth of a point for that. Speaking of Bluff the co-host, that's at the end of the show. But what do we have coming up? We have a bunch of good things here. We've got an unidentified driving object in Missouri. The world's worst place in the world. The worst place in the world to take a test. If you got a test coming up. How Japan ruined s'mores. You know, those cool things you eat around the campfire, and fried chicken. Those people can destroy really good American food like there's like nobody else. they probably think the same way about us and how we make Japanese food. So we're even. But we'll talk about this stuff here. The world's fastest and scariest merry-go-round. How to look like the Incredible Hulk. Oh, if you want to look like the Incredible Hulk, this is the show for you. Plus, we got more odd news. We've got world records. We've got trivia. I've got John's got a sport for us. He'll be talking about his sport near the end of the show, and then we play everybody's favorite Weird News game, Bluff the Call. So let's get started with 4th of July. 4th of July was last weekend. John, you know what that means? The big Nathan's annual 4th of July hot dog eating contest.
Yes.
Did you check up on the contestants?
Oh, no. In fact, bring me up to speed. I was at a couple of cookouts on 4th of July, and we didn't have any opportunity to see anything on the Nathan's contest. So fill me in and fill the rest of us.
Sure. Okay. So the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest did not have the world champion, Joey Chestnut, because he was he's advertising for a vegetarian hot dog place maker, and as a result of that, they kicked him out of the contest. So he was not there. And Kobayashi, the Japanese contestant who always finished second, except for 1 or 2 times, he was not there. So we've got the stats here. The winner. Let's see if I can. There we go. The winner is a guy by the name of Patrick Bertoletti. Good Italian guy here. Gobbled down 58 hot dogs in 10 minutes to win his first men's title. Now, I think the world record is 73. So he was what, 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was quite a few off from Joey Chestnut's record, but 58. The women's competition, the women's winner was this lady right here. There she is. Her name is Miki Sudo. Miki was the defending champion. She won her 10th title, set a new world record by downing 51 hot dogs. So she was only 7 behind the man. Yeah, in the same amount of time. So 51 hot dogs in 10 minutes. I timed myself. I barely got down 2 hot dogs in 10 minutes. I couldn't eat 51 cocktail wieners in 10 minutes.
Yes.
After, I'd have about 10 hot dogs down, and I'd take the toothpick and I'd be sticking my tongue because my tongue would be numb by that time. How do these people do this? John, you've studied it. Have you ever attempted anything like this?
No, I really haven't, Paul and Karen audience. And I don't think I would ever want to do it, to be honest with you. I don't think it's much fun. I mean, I guess it's a competition, right? And I guess there's prize money involved as well. But
we're going to talk about that in a second. Yeah. $10,000. $10,000 is the prize. So, which isn't a whole lot of money, and you can get it in cash, you can get it in Bitcoin, or you can get it in Alka-Seltzer coupons, which I think would.
The last one might be the best way to go.
Exactly. Yeah. So Joey Chestnut competed in a different competition at the same time as the Nathan. So he was up against. He was at an Army base in El Paso, Texas. By the way, we have a number of listeners down in Texas, long-time listeners, Tex Chick and Mark down in Austin. They're all flooded out today. So I think Tex Chick has some power. Some of our other listeners I know have no power. So it's tough down there. We want to send our good feelings. How's your Karen's son is down in Dallas. I don't know how badly they got hit, but Houston really.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Joey Chestnut was in El Paso last week, and he went up against let me do this. I'm dealing with an emergency here. I'm gonna call my alternate producer right here. Donna, are you there? Okay, come here. Okay. I told you this is a strange show today. This is indeed a strange show. Call the number that just rang here twice.
Thanks,
Okay.
producer.
It's my air conditioning guy. He's coming tomorrow. So he's calling to verify the appointment. And if I don't answer the phone, that means he won't come. And then I have to wait to get him back in line. And you don't want to do that. So anyway, so Joey Chestnut, where were we? We were talking about Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
He went up against 5 guys, 5 Army guys. Okay. So, these are big, fit guys. He ate 57 hot dogs, but not in 10 minutes. He ate 57 hot dogs in 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. 57 hot dogs in 5 minutes. Not only does that break the record for 5 minutes, he broke the record for a Sears shop vac sucking down hot dogs.
Wow.
And veggie hot dogs at that. Yuck.
Oh my God, 57 in 5 minutes. So this guy Berlotti, the winner here, let's put him back up there. He says that he actually lost weight in order to compete, which doesn't make sense to me because I would think that his stomach would shrink. But he says he lost weight, and he practiced for 3 months before competing. 3 months with
Do
an
you have a total number of how many hot dogs he consumed in that 3-month period? Paul,
Let me tell you, John, there were so many hot dogs that he ate so many hot dogs. Giant Eagle was out of hot dogs last year. he cleared out the entire country practicing for this contest.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and then Sudo, the women's winner, she's a dental hygiene student in Florida. She set a new record. Her previous record, believe it or not, last year was 39 and a half hot dogs. So she ate like 12 more hot dogs this year to set the record of 51. Originally they said she only ate 50, but she's a hygienist. So she got a mirror and she went looking inside her mouth. She managed to put one more together from what was left there. So
wow.
Isn't that amazing?
And she's a tiny little thing too.
I know. I remember seeing her in previous contests. Most of the women are small. Even Joey Chestnut is not that big, and his stomach is a little bigger than normal when not eating, and then obviously it gets bigger as the hot dogs go down there. As far as I know, he does not have a little bucket on the side. I think he would be disqualified. You have to keep him down for a certain amount of time. So we're not going to go any further into that subject.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So everybody knows I like to write about UFOs and aliens. That's from my Mysterious Universe site. So I've got a really interesting UFO story from this week. This comes from Missouri. Police in Missouri pulled over what looked like an unidentified flying object, except it was on the ground. So they referred to it as an unidentified driving object. Now, the first view that we're looking at here is the view out of the police officer's window. And in front of him is what looks like a flying saucer on a road in Missouri. And the globe, the dome, the glass dome that's on the top is tilted up. And it looks like there's 2 people sitting in the front seat. And it says, I'll wait. So they were heading for the UFO festival in Roswell, New Mexico. So they're going through Missouri on their way. The first thing I'm thinking, I just had a new book out. I'm looking for another topic for my book. I think I'm going to start a book about all of the different unidentified driving objects like this that I've come across and call it the XKE files, which for Jaguar, if you're not a Jaguar fan, Jaguar XKE is one of my favorite cars. Anyways, as bad as it looks, and this thing does not look very good. It does not look like it can go faster than 10 or 15 miles an hour. They tested it, and it actually outperformed the Tesla Cybertruck. So, that truck's it's not winning any fans anywhere. This is the way to go. So I had some more photos here. Let's see. So here's a photo from the front. You can see the cop in the back and the lady, the driver. She's sitting in what appears to be a driver's seat. And there's a steering wheel.
Yep.
Here's the cop standing behind her. He doesn't have, he's giving a thumbs up sign. So this may be after he had already checked the place out. Then we've got a picture of a different cop. They were actually stopped twice. They were stopped once in Missouri and once in Utah. So this is the Utah sheriff who also pulled them over doing a selfie. And the ladies have sunglasses that make it look like they have those pointed alien eyes. Kind of cool. Then
One
we
lady has
have,
green hair.
yeah, yeah. Oh, she's making the Mr. Spock live long and prosper sign there. Now, I've been in this UFO business for a while. So I have a friend by the name of Tom Reed who was abducted. Now, this is his story. He and his mom and his grandmother were abducted by aliens in, I think it was about 15 years ago in Massachusetts. And the governor of Massachusetts believed the story and actually put up a plaque honoring them as the first known and so far only government verified alien abduction in the United States. So Tom happened to run into these people at the Roswell Festival. So here's a picture of Tom. Tom is the guy with the baseball cap in the back and the sunglasses. They're all waving to the camera. The guy next to him is Travis Walton. So all you UFO people know who Travis Walton is. He had one of the most famous abduction stories in the world. Back in 1975, he claimed he was abducted while working construction in Arizona and was missing for a few days before he stumbled out of the woods, and with a fantastic tale. Look it up, Travis Walton. So that's a photo from Tom. I don't know if I have anything else to say about this. Oh, so John, I wish you could see this. I'll try and describe it to you and everybody who can't see it.
Okay.
This is the cockpit or the inside of the flying saucer. So, it's not that impressive from the outside. It's even less impressive on the inside. There's a cup in there that they got from McDonald's. I'm looking for wrappers on the floor. I think there must be fuzzy dice hanging from the top here somewhere. Here's a full. She's got two there's American flags all over the place.
Oh
Looks
my
like
gosh.
there's a phaser. Up in the corner. It looks like she's got a phaser or maybe a blow dryer. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Maybe it's a modified blow dryer up there. All kind of weird stuff in the cockpit of this thing, but yet it looks like there's a gas pedal and a brake pedal. So I'm thinking this is what a real UFO probably looks like. We think they're all so sophisticated, like Star Trek and computers everywhere. I'll bet when aliens come from other planets, this is what it looks like. They've got empty bags of alien snacks and soft drinks and koozies and sunglasses and fuzzy dice with hieroglyphics on them. Speeding ticket from a cop on Jupiter that they got. They're just like us. That's what I think. They're just like us, and that's the theme of my book. There we go. What would you say to a naked space alien? Because that's just what I talk about in the book is aliens that are more like us, casual. A story of an alien making waffles for the farmer whose field they landed in. So if you like stories like that, one of my favorites, perfect for the baseball season, a spaceship landed in Japan. The spaceship was the size of a baseball. Now, big mistake, because it landed amongst a bunch of teenage boys who happened to be playing baseball.
Oh. Right.
So all I'm going to say is they did not hit it, thank goodness, but they did capture it and put it in a bag. A good idea, because it was moving around in there, and by the time they got home, it had disappeared. They had all kind of adventures with this baseball-sized UFO. So you want to learn more about that? What would you say to a naked space alien? Look for it on Amazon, or better yet, go to my webpage, paulseaburn.com. I also have a link on my Facebook page. So there we go. A little plug this week for what would you say to a naked space alien? Okay. All right. Now, I don't know how the age group, but most of our listeners have already been out of school, I would say. But we all remember, John, I know you remember, you can't see this photo, but it's a picture of kids taking an SAT test. And it's
Oh,
in
yeah.
a huge gymnasium. Remember, we all took those tests in gymnasiums.
Yep.
Mhm. That's true.
Yeah. So there's probably 500 kids in this room. The ceiling's really high. Believe it or not, they did a study on kids taking tests, and they found out that this is the absolute worst environment for taking a test. You don't want high ceilings. You don't want a lot of kids in class. Instead, you want everybody close together. You want low ceilings, and you only want a few people in the room, which I agree with that, as long as the few people that are in the room are smarter than me and let me see their paper. But I was thinking about this, John and Karen and everybody out there. Do you remember a phenomenon? And not every teacher did this, but there was a thing called the open book test. Do you remember taking open book tests?
Yes.
Yes, I remember. Yes, I do.
That
Yes.
doesn't make sense. That's an oxymoron. An open book test is homework. That's what homework is.
Oh.
An open book test means you take the test while you have your book open and you can just look up the answers. It's like kids, it's like taking your phone in and being allowed to use Google while you're taking a test, or Wikipedia. I never quite understood. Not that I complained about them, but that always bothered me. What was the real purpose of an open book test? So I mean, if I'm taking a test and it's open book, and I want to make sure the kid next to me has a giant iPad so I can read off of that too. But the high ceilings, I understand that. That's distracting. You're looking up at the ceiling, you're looking at the rafters, you can't see what's up there. I like a lower ceiling, I thought. But then I remembered a couple of classes I was in. John, I don't know if this ever happened to you, but we did a class with low ceilings, and we were using pencils, sharpened pencils, and somebody would get the idea to throw a pencil into the ceiling, and the next thing you know, there's pencils all over the place stuck in the ceiling. Do you remember that?
Yes, Paul, I do remember that.
Of course, you have to remember pencils. I don't know if they still use pencils in school anymore.
Oh, no. Oh.
Yeah, Karen, your son is closer to school age. Did he still use pencils when he was in school?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's get out of this one here. So, popular new dessert treat in Japan. Oh, here we go. So we're into the Japanese food section of the show for today. I'm gonna watch my clock. We started 15 minutes late here, so I'm gonna make sure we're staying on time. So this food is called, now, John, you're not missing anything here, because it's called see-through pudding. This is a carton of it, and even the carton is clear, so you can look in it and see that you can't see anything. See pudding.
All right, okay.
And it's basically gelatin, clear gelatin in a clear plastic container. I think this should be called Chopsticks Impossible, because A, I don't know how you can use chopsticks to eat Jell-O, and B, I don't know if you can use chopsticks on something that you can't see.
Yeah.
And here's a photo of it in a bowl, and someone with a clear spoon, which doesn't make sense to me, trying to get it to stay on their spoon. Now, I got this from a little video, and it actually showed the person. It showed the stuff jiggling on their spoon and slipping off. So somehow you have to slice it or somehow get it out and be able to eat it. And then I posted this on Facebook, and everybody asked the same question: what does it taste like? The answer is, it tastes like it looks. It has no flavor to it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Why eat it?
Yeah. You know what they do? They give you a little packet of flavoring. The most popular one is they said is caramel. So what you're supposed to do is sprinkle this caramel powder on the top of it and then eat it. Well, I'm thinking, if I sprinkle caramel powder on top of this clear Jell-O, it's going to look like as if I was eating the clear Jell-O and I at the beach and I happened to spill it onto the sand and then picked it up again. That's what it looks like. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not sure if I would eat clear Jell-O, but I'm certainly not going to eat it if it's got something that looks like sand on it.
Doesn't sound
So-
very appetizing to me, Paul and Karen and audience.
No, I don't even think that Mormons would eat this. And Mormons pretty much are the number 1 consumer of Jell-O in the world. We've talked about this before. The Mormons are very family oriented. They have a lot of kids, and Jell-O is a good dessert for kids. So they in Utah, they don't have much else to do there, so they eat a lot of Jell-O. I'm thinking the only reason Mormons would make clear Jell-O is if they had atheists over for dinner, because they wouldn't know what flavor the atheist would want, so they just believe in God. Well, here, Jell-O for you. That's your punishment. And okay, so we move from clear Jell-O to how the Japanese are ruining s'mores. Now, Karen, do you need a recipe to make s'mores?
No, it's
No,
so easy. There's 3 ingredients.
Yeah, everybody in the world knows what s'mores are. Yeah. Graham cracker, Hershey bar, marshmallow. End of discussion. You don't need a recipe. So, and you can't ruin it except in Japan. So the people who make cup noodles, that's what they're called, the ramen noodles, they have come out with campfire s'mores. Here's a picture of the carton here. This is the best view of this stuff. It goes downhill from here. So it's s'mores in ramen noodles. They call it a reimagination of everybody's favorite fireside dessert with a blend of chocolate, marshmallow, and graham cracker flavors, enhanced with a smoky tang for an unforgettable ramen experience. A smoky tang for an unforgettable ramen experience. I tried this. I threw a half of carton of it away, and I looked out at night, and the raccoons were in my garbage. They were giving me the finger. They weren't eating either.
They didn't care for it, huh?
No, John, take a look at here's what it looks like. That's when you put water in it. This is what it looks somewhat edible with no water. But what it looks like, for those of you who can't see it, it looks like you took cocoa powder and put it in a cup, and then you put mini marshmallows on it. And then sneaking through all that are the little ramen noodles, which look kind of like worms in this particular photo. But when you add hot water, it looks disgusting. I'm sorry, it looks disgusting.
It does, yeah.
And I don't know what this smoky tang flavor is. Smoky tang. John, I think we saw Smoky Tang open for Juice Newton. Do you remember?
I'm having a hard time recalling that, Paul, but I'm going to take your word for it.
Do you remember Juice Newton?
Yeah, she was a singer, obviously, right in the 70s.
Yeah. I should have looked up on one of her big songs. Karen, you know her biggest song, right? It was
no,
The Queen of Hearts.
Okay, won't you come out tonight? I have no idea what it was. So s'mores, everybody knows what s'mores are. The recipe, believe it or not, there is actually a recipe for s'mores, and it was in the 1957 Betty Crocker cookbook. Betty Crocker, of all people, decided that America needed a recipe for s'mores. What was the recipe? You already know it. Graham crackers, Hershey bar, toasted marshmallow. None of those ingredients are in the cup of s'mores noodle stuff here. Not even the toasted marshmallow. What they tell you to do is pour hot water on mini marshmallows, which doesn't toast them at all. Doesn't give them a smoky tang flavor. Doesn't do anything except make them mushy. In fact, I think they disappeared. That's why we don't even see them in this cup here.
Exactly.
You know what the ingredients are? The entire side of the carton is a list of ingredients. I lost count after 40. That's how many ingredients. Besides flour, vegetable oil, sugar, tapioca, salt, there's blue dye. Why is there blue dye in s'mores? Garlic powder. Why is there garlic powder? Onion powder. If garlic powder is not bad enough, if you don't have bad enough breath, then they put onion powder in it. Silicone dioxide. John, I know that's one of your favorite additives, silicone dioxide.
Doesn't sound good to me.
Okay, but this does. They also put sodium bicarbonate in it. which I think you probably need after eating this.
Probably, yes. Yeah.
They're thinking ahead. They're thinking ahead. Okay, we move from s'mores to the next taste treat from Japan. A popular new item at KFC restaurant in Japan, in Thailand and Indonesia, is bags of crispy fried chicken skin. Crispy fried chicken skin. No meat, chicken skin. It's for KFC fans who want to skip the legs and breast and get right to the heart attack portion of their meal.
Wow.
Breaded chicken skin. John, does that sound tasty to you?
Sounds terrible to me. I don't know. I don't think I would ever try to touch anything like that, Paul and Karen and audience.
It reminded me of when we were kids and my dad was making chicken on the grill and one of the pieces would fall through the grill onto the coals. And he'd give it to us. He'd say, "Oh no, it's good. This makes the skin taste even better." No, it doesn't. He just didn't want to waste that chicken breast, that chicken thigh. So that's what it. And here's another one here. They call it cracklins that to try and get you to eat it. Now cracklins is so this ad here. This one says all chicken skin, all the best part. There is no best part of chicken skin. It's chicken skin. What are they talking about? Are they talking about that little extra blob of fat down at the end that never gets cooked? Is that it? Or maybe when you peel it off the leg and that little knob from the end of the bone comes off and you accidentally bite into it and chip your tooth. Is that what they're talking about? Because I don't think there's a best part to chicken skin. Anyways, so there were comments on this. One of the comments was, "No need to fight over the skin now."
Yeah.
John, I know you had brothers growing up. Did you ever fight over the skin on the chicken?
You know, I would honestly say we did not. I can honestly say that I can never recall an actual instance where me and my brothers were trying to get more chicken skin or whatever.
Yeah, I know one of your brothers, and I know that you fought over food, but I can't imagine the DiNallos fighting over chicken skin. So
no, I think I think that's very accurate, Paul and Karen.
Yeah,
that's very accurate.
So they call them cracklins. Now when I lived down in Texas, cracklins referred to pork. Deep fried pork skin was cracklins. And George H.W. Bush, when he was president, in order to make people think that he was a down-home boy, even though he lived in Connecticut, not in Texas, he would eat deep fried pork skin to make him look more Texasy. Now is not the time to talk about what presidents eat or former presidents eat. I bring that up because they call them cracklin. Now, Karen, I didn't know this. The pork skins are not the only cracklins that people eat. I found a Jewish recipe for goose cracklins.
Ooh.
Deep
Never
fried
heard
goose.
of it.
Never heard of it. Never
No.
heard of it. I'll tell you what, I might try that only because I'll eat anything that gets rid of Canadian geese pooping all over the place. So I would be helping the cause by eating goose. Karen, also in the recipe book, it said that you take the goose cracklins and you mixed it with lard and then spread it on bread. Doesn't that taste good?
No, but first of all, lard isn't kosher.
Oh, that's right. No, it was what did they call it? Schmaltz.
Yes.
Schmaltz. That's schmaltz. My heart, I'm just talking about this. My heart feels a disturbance in the force. And then the worst idea, another recipe, they stir it into sweet batter for dessert. So you're making a cake or biscuit. They stir these cracklins, these deep fried chicken skins into the batter, and it's supposed to make it taste better. Let me tell you, I would eat cup of noodle s'mores before I would eat that. And I already know how I feel about those. Unbelievable. Okay, that's the end of the food portion here. I know Karen, I know, is glad to hear that. John, you're lucky.
I am too.
Yeah, you didn't have to watch all this with us. Okay. So this story, this guy wouldn't give his name, but he's on the YouTube channel called Whistling Diesel. No G in the whistling. Whistling Diesel is the YouTube channel. His name is Cody. He wanted to make the world's fastest, most powerful merry-go-round. So how did he do it? He got a 7,000 horsepower jet engine. Where did he get it? He didn't say. I don't know if you can get those on eBay or if you can buy it on Amazon, but somehow he got a 7,000 horsepower jet engine. He attached it to one of those playground merry-go-rounds, not the kind at the amusement park, but the kind that the little kids you got on, you held the bar, you got one leg on the ground, you started pumping in the same direction, and then eventually you spun around. He attached it. This engine has 3,000 pounds of thrust. He said that he expected it to spin at a maximum of 69,000 miles an hour. I didn't think that. Yeah, the speed, the radar gun doesn't go up that high. I know that. So I don't know how he figured that out. But he said at 69,000 miles an hour and generate a thrust of 13 Gs. 13 Gs the force of gravity. So he would be flown off of it, I'm sure, if he actually was dumb enough to run it. But I heard when he heard the story, Elon Musk had an orgasm because this sounds like the kind of stuff that he wants to build. So, John and everybody out there who I know is about our same age listening. When we were kids, we would take lawnmower engines and attach them to some wheels and make mini bikes out of them.
Oh yeah, sure.
Or in my case, I would take baseball cards and attach it to the spokes of my bike and make it sound like a motorcycle.
Yeah, I did the same as well.
yeah, because we were chicken, John.
Didn't have the guts.
Right. Not getting anywhere near motorcycle engines on or lawnmower engines. So this guy puts a jet engine on it, and then he ignites it, and it spins around. You can look it up. It spins around until the here's a picture of it. He's got it fired up. Now he's still on it while it's fired up. He's testing it here. He's getting ready to jump off. He jumps behind a wall, and then as it's spinning, the engine flies off the merry-go-round.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it keeps that. Now this is from his viewpoint. He's got the camera. So he's behind a wall. The engine is not going towards him. The engine is going straight for a car.
Yeah.
I couldn't see at the end of the video if it hit the car. I would have thought that he would have said, but he said it exploded at the end. So thankfully he wasn't riding it, or he would have reached his own terminal velocity.
Yeah.
So this reminded me of one of my favorite pictures from one of my favorite movies of all time. This is another guy riding a rocket. This is from Dr. Strangelove. Now, if you've never seen the movie, you might remember at least seeing the photo. This is one of the characters. The guy's name is Slim Pickens. I don't remember what his name was in the movie, but he jumped on a bomb and rode it down to Earth, a nuclear bomb, when it then exploded. And that was the title of the movie, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Written and produced by Stanley Kubrick, one of his first movies, which really established him as a political satirist. Not so much, he didn't do many more comedies after that, but Peter Sellers played 3 different roles in this movie. One of the funniest, most satirical movies in history. It's still funny today. It was made in 1964, so we're talking about 60 years later. If you can see it, just to watch Slim Pickens yelling and screaming as he rides a rocket down to Earth, it's worth it for that. John, have you ever seen it?
Oh, I've seen it many times. It's quite a movie. Yeah. I agree with you, Paul. It's quite a movie.
A wonderful movie. Okay, all right. So now, talking about movies and talking about television here. This is where we get to our last story. This is about the Incredible Hulk. Now, I think everybody remembers the Incredible Hulk, but the Incredible Hulk has gone through a number of variations that I want to talk about here. So, but the first thing is, why is this in the news and why are we talking about it? Well, there's a fashion designer who made, his name is Max Arnatov. He's Russian. He made a new kind of footwear he's calling the Hulk boots because they make your feet look like your feet are from the Incredible Hulk. They're green and giant. Would that be an accurate description, Karen, of what those are? Green and
Yes,
giant?
and they are ridiculously ugly.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Besides ridiculous, that's right. Not even any laces on them. You just slip your feet into them, John, and everybody out there, and off you go. There's soles on the bottom that look like maybe fashioned after tires. Um, so, but your feet are you still, when you pull your feet out, they're still Bruce Banner feet, who was the Incredible Hulk before he became the Hulk. Except they're all sweaty and the skin's peeling off them because they've been in these rubber boots for however long they are. So, I'm saying if you want your feet to look giant and green, go running through the forest barefoot, and eventually you'll break both your ankles and they'll swell up and your feet will be green from all the grass. You'll be the Incredible Hulk, except you'll be on crutches. So John, here's my trivia question for you. Why is the Incredible Hulk green?
That's a great question. And I'm going to have to say that I don't have an answer for you, Paul. I'm sorry.
I don't think anybody knows. I had to look it up, and it was completely not what I expected. So, the Incredible Hulk was originally a comic book, 1962, by the great Stan Lee, who is the genius behind Marvel Comics. He chose gray for the Incredible Hulk in his books, because the first issue, because he wanted a color that did not suggest any particular ethnic group. He wanted it to be, non-ethnic, non-racist. They would even talk about it at that time. So he wanted gray, and he did the drawing, but then it was colored by a guy by the name of Stan Goldberg, and he had problem with the gray coloring. So he tried all different shades of gray. Nothing would work. He finally settled on green. And when Stan Lee saw it, he said, perfect. That's the color that the Hulk is, green. So he wanted it to be gray. So that's the main reason why. Here's another guy walking in these Hulk boots. There is the Incredible Hulk. Now, John, I know you can't see the photo, so this is a good one for you. On the television show, The Incredible Hulk, who played the Hulk version of the Incredible Hulk?
Oh, Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno, bodybuilder extraordinaire, Mr. Universe. If it weren't for what's his name, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he would have been Mr. Universe a number of times. So who played Bruce Banner, which was the Incredible Hulk before he turned into the Incredible Hulk?
Oh boy, I don't know this one. I can't.
Okay. I'll give you a hint.
Sorry.
I'll give you a hint. My favorite Martian.
Oh, it was Ray Walston?
No, it was the nephew. The nephew.
That's a good one. Karen, do you know?
Well, it's the nephew, but I can't think of his name.
Bill Bixby was his name.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Sure.
Bill Bixby. Bill Bixby's real name, by the way, was Wilfred Bailey Everett Bixby III, which he, thank goodness, shortened. Now, we're looking at a picture here of on the left-hand side is Bill Bixby, and then his slow transition. First, his eyes changed color as he started to get the rage. Then he looked angry, and then he finally turned into the Lou Ferrigno all green Incredible Hulk with most of his clothing off because Hulk was much bigger than Bill Bixby. So that show was on in 1978. That was the first time it came on. It was eventually made into 3 made-for-TV movies, so it never made it to with these guys, never made it to the big screen. Bill Bixby was an incredible actor, by the way. He was on the Twilight Zone. He was on Fantasy Island. He was on Rod Sterling's Night Gallery. Very, very early paranormal actor. He was into all that kind of stuff. But what we remember him the most for is his original and the first UFO television show, My Favorite Martian. And Karen and John both gave the names of the characters, the actors. Bill Bixby was Tim, the nephew, And Ray Walston played the Martian, who he called Uncle Martin.
Yep.
Because he's from Mars, right? So I thought this really, they really based it on the times. The Martian was in was being chased by a U.S. Air Force rocket plane, the X-15. So this was 1963. This was before the space program. They were testing rocket planes. They were originally going to send people into space in rocket planes, and the X-15 was one of them. So they worked it into this TV show where the X-15 was chasing the spaceship, and it wasn't a saucer; it was a pointed, like a cigar-shaped spaceship. And he crashed, and Bill Bixby, Tim, saw him and rescued him and brought him home, and took care of him. So he was the Martian was 450 years old. He was an anthropologist on Mars, so he was coming to Earth to study humans. And he used to do tricks, the Martian. He had two antennas that popped up out of his head. He could freeze people, so people would be in the middle of doing something, and he could freeze them with his finger, and then he could walk around and mess around with them. Of course, he didn't do any of the stuff we wanted him to do. He would, because it was 1963. We were teenage boys watching this. Okay.
That's right.
So what other powers did he? He was telepathic. He could read minds. He could levitate objects, communicate with animals, and he could speed up. He could speed himself up so he could do things much faster than everybody else. And that, my friend, take a look on Karen. What's that network that your husband watches?
MeTV.
MeTV. I guarantee my favorite Martian is on.
They are on, yes.
Oh, check it out. I think the first 2 seasons are in black and white, and season 3 was in color. Look at the black and white stuff, because it's just it puts you in another dimension, as Rod Sterling would say. Another place in time. And that brings us to the end of What in the World, which means it's time for What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo. So John has been patiently sitting here. Poor guy, he hasn't been able to see all these great photos. So it's just like all of the rest of you listening in. So now John knows what it's like to be a listener. He's going to be much more in tune to our audience. Not that you weren't already, John. I don't mean that. I understand.
I understand what you're saying.
Every week I ask John to find a weird sport for us that fits with our theme. Real news, real sport, sometimes strange, always funny. John always manages to find one, and more recently, multiple sports on a theme for our sport of the week. And that's what we've got this week, is multiple sports on a theme. So John, tell us the sports and tell us the theme.
Okay, will do, Paul. So actually, ladies and gentlemen, this week we actually have 2 unusual sports to speak about, but these 2 sports have a common element, and that element is the chicken egg. Let me explain. The sports are egg throwing and egg Russian roulette. Now, since 2004,
did you just say egg Russian roulette?
I did say that, Paul. Yes, egg Russian roulette.
Okay, go on.
Let me continue on here. So, since 2004, the World Egg Throwing Championships take place annually in Lincolnshire, England. There are several events in the championships, with the main one being the egg throw, where one contestant throws an egg and the other catches it without breaking. The world record egg throw is, get ready for this, believe it or not, 309 feet.
Wow.
That distance was achieved.
Like a football field.
Right. That distance was achieved by a team from New Zealand in 2016.
Where they don't even play football.
Well, no, soccer, but you're right. Exactly. Okay.
They normally kick the ball. So they threw.
Right.
And caught it, and it didn't break. Okay.
Sure. So Andy Dunlop, who is the president of the World Egg Throwing Federation, that's for you, Karen. There is an actual federation.
Well, great.
says that the event can be traced back to the 12th century when local monks were given land to build a church by a river in a place which is now called Bridgen. The monks encouraged the villagers to attend their church by giving an egg to each worshiper. But when the river was too high for the villagers to cross, the monks would throw the eggs across the water, while the people on the other side prayed that they would catch them without breaking. Now, today, the tossing distance begins at 33 feet between the contestants and continues until only one pair is still standing with no egg on their faces, so to speak.
Wow.
Believe it or not, the eggs are thrown at speeds that can approach 120 miles per hour.
Wow. That's,
However, Mr.
wow.
Dunlop, the president there, he warned that speeds above that would cause an egg to explode in midair. So it's maxed out at 120 miles an hour, believe it or not.
Unbelievable.
Now, another event in the World Egg Throwing Championship is it uses a device which is called a trebuchet, which is actually a catapult with a rotating arm and a sling that launches the eggs, with the team launching an egg the farthest declared the winner.
Wow. I want to stop you for a second here, John, because I know the next two photos are teams. Women also participate in this contest, and also the participants come from other countries. So this is a picture of two very nice young ladies who look like they may be from Scandinavia, who have a team, and these two guys are from Bulgaria. So they look like they could.
Big difference.
Yeah. They look like eggs. They look like they could certainly crush eggs with their bare hands.
Yes.
So you have a catapult. That's interesting, but I know there's more.
Sure. Well, yeah. So yes, there's another event which is called the World Target Throwing with Accuracy Challenge, and in this event, people throw eggs at a man named Joel Hicks, and in throwing the eggs at Hicks, it turns out that this is the only pay-to-enter game and is priced at £2 for 3 eggs. Now, as the people will throw these eggs at Hicks, points are awarded, and this is how they are awarded. A headshot yields no points. A throw that hits Hicks's arms or legs is worth 1 point. A throw that hits his body is worth 2 points. And a throw that hits his groin is worth 3 points.
Oh,
we're looking at a picture here of Hicks, and he looks like he's wearing a yellow Superman outfit, and really getting into it.
Chicken outfit.
Yeah, this is a chicken. Oh, that's what it is. You're right. Yeah, it's Super Chicken. This looks like he's early in the competition because he doesn't have much egg yolk on him,
Right.
anyway. This is like the old dunking booth at state fairs in the United States. But
Sure.
looks like a lot of fun throwing eggs at this guy. Okay.
Okay.
So what else?
Then there's another event, and this is the egg throwing static relay. And in this event, 11-person teams spread out at 10-meter intervals and pass 12 eggs individually along the line of players. The team that passes the eggs the quickest without breaking them is then declared the winner.
Wow.
And last but not least, the one event, Paul, that you were interested in or questioning is the egg Russian roulette, where 2 contestants at one time smash a total of 6 eggs against their heads, hoping not to find the one raw egg among the other 5 hard-boiled eggs.
A 6-shooter of eggs. That is just so unbelievable.
It is. It is.
Yeah. It looks like I'm sure this is the high point of the competition.
Sure.
World Egg Russian Roulette Championships. Unbelievable.
And I can summarize things or kind of close things here by saying, what is there left to say about egg throwing and egg Russian roulette? They go over easy, so to speak. but won't crack your skull or scramble your brains. And they are the perfect sports if your name is Benedict.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, perfect.
oh,
Perfect
Right.
ending. The
that's too
there's
much.
nothing left to say after that.
Well,
You're
that's
right.
right, Paul and Karen, and audience, but I can tell you, these are true, very, very unusual sports.
Yes,
Very
very.
unusual. The John, you can't see this. The trophies are little tiny egg cups. So
Okay.
I was thinking, I thought, well, how terrible. The tiny little trophies. Then I realized that they're actually, I don't know if they're silver, they're probably plastic, but even so, kind of a nice touch. Along with they give out medals and all that kind of stuff. So the British have a number of unusual sports. Most of them the result of the fact that they spend a lot of time in a pub. But besides that, these are pretty cool things to do. So we should do more things like that in the United States. And in fact, we do. John, I don't know if you remember this, but back, John and I go way back. We were in college together. We're fraternity brothers. Back, when we were in the fraternity early on, we participated in something that was called egg toss. Do you remember that?
No, but you'll have to kind of refresh my memory here, Paul. Please go ahead.
Well, it was, as always, John and I were the youngest guys in the fraternity at that time, and the older guys liked to pull pranks on us. So they would tell us to do things, knowing that whatever it was we were doing, we'd make fools of ourselves doing it. So they told us that we were going to put on an egg toss, and we knew we had already been fooled a number of times. We knew whatever if it was something with eggs, we were in trouble. So we tried to figure out a way to beat the system. So what we did, John, I don't know if you remember this, and I have a photo which you can't see, but you'll get the essence of it. Instead of getting real eggs, we dressed up as eggs, giant eggs,
Oh boy.
and we decided to toss each other, like sumo wrestlers. So here's a photo of two guys dressed like giant eggs about to wrestle each other. Now, John was a much better athlete than me. So here's a picture of John.
Pouncing on you.
Right before he pings me, that's right, doing the John's patented haystack Calhoun pancake smash on top of me.
I remember this now, Paul, that you
Oh yeah, now you remember.
Yes, I do. I do.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah, great sport, John. Thanks so much for the egg toss and egg Russian roulette and
thank you.
playing along, even though you couldn't see the photos here. So
That's fine. Oh yeah, sure. You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
all right, so we have reached the end of sports, which means it's time for everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the co-host. I'm going to leave this photo up here for those of you that are watching, so we don't mess up our photo system here today. But anyways, real simple for everybody out there who, if you haven't played the game before, I have 3 stories similar to the ones we've been talking about all afternoon. One big difference, those were all true. These stories may be real, they may be a bluff, and it's up to Karen, John, and all of you playing at home to decide real or bluff. John and Karen get to have their hands on the buzzers. You folks out there, just yell out the answer. We'll be able to hear you. Gambling is allowed, so place your bet. Let's get right to it with story number 1. We've all heard the expression, when pigs fly, to describe something that will never happen. And that certainly applies to pigs. But archaeologists in Africa have found fossils of a small breed of rhinos that lived about 50,000 years ago in Africa that had so much loose skin that it appears that they were able to fly like a flying squirrel from hill to hill and even onto large branches of trees before they glided back down to the ground. Pictures of flying rhinos have been found in caves, but no one believed it until a cave explorer discovered fossilized skin and a small rhino skeleton with extra long legs that would have allowed it to spread the skin and glide for short distances. Paleontologists are now looking for more fossils in the caves before they give the flying rhino its Latin name, but they've already stopped saying rhinos will fly when pigs fly. Okay, so in Africa, they found tiny rhinos that flew just like flying, excuse me, just like flying squirrels. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
Well, maybe if they were small enough and had, but just having extra skin isn't going to help you fly. I mean, I've got some extra skin and I'm not flying. So I'm going to say this is a great story and it's not real.
I'm not going to touch that comment until pigs fly. Until pigs fly. Okay, Karen says flying rhinos is a bluff. John, how about you?
Initially I thought it would be real, but the more I think of it, and with Karen's conviction here saying that, how will that still be able to, even with extra skin, be able to enable a rhino to fly, regardless to how small, the rhino is? I'm going to say it's a bluff also.
Okay, so John doesn't believe that rhinos can fly. Karen, or ever could fly. Karen doesn't believe that rhinos could ever fly. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, guess what? You're both right. That was a bluff.
All right, very good. Way to go, Karen. Very good. Very good.
But squirrels fly. There's flying snakes. It could happen. We don't hold your breath when pigs fly. Okay. Scores 1-1. Let's get right to story number 2. Owners of wishing wells have long wondered what might happen if people no longer carried coins. And now their question has been answered at the famous Roman bath in Bath, England, where the cost of collecting the coins tossed into the bath for luck was so high that the management has banned the practice and instead switched to taking credit cards and contactless payments. After just 1 year, they lost over $100,000 in revenue, pulling in only 1/10 of what they normally got with coins. Even worse, wishes are not being answered, and tourists have been looking for other places to toss their change and make a wish. The Roman bath managers say they can't go back, but they may put up hollow ceramic bust of Caesar with signs promising he will grant their wishes for coins dropped into his head. Okay, so the Roman baths in England stopped letting people toss coins in and make a wish, and they lost $100,000 in revenue. Real or bluff? Karen will, or John, will start with you on that one.
I can visualize this. I'm gonna say it's real. I'm gonna say it's a true story.
True story. You think people should get a wish for just waving a credit card?
Yeah.
Okay. So John says it's true. Karen, how about you?
Well, I think it's true, but I don't think I would not use a credit card. Okay. So, but I think it's true because nobody wants to use, coins anymore. So.
Okay. What would you do? Just jump in and make a wish?
Don't tell my secrets.
Oh, that's how you got all that money in that new
Yeah.
car. Okay. All right. So Karen and John both say that cutting out coins in the wishing well for the Roman bath resulted in a severe loss of revenue and wishes. Real or bluff? We check with the judges, and the judges say congratulations to both of you again. That is a real story.
All right. Very good, Karen. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Scores tied 2-2. So whatever our glitches were at the beginning certainly hasn't affected the players on Bluff the Co-host. Let's see what happens here. Now, points are double in round number 3, but it doesn't really matter because the score is tied. So let's see what happens. The French are proud of their croissants. So it's no surprise that they hate watching how American tourists eat them. It's so bad that many French restaurants that serve croissants have begun printing special menus in English with specific warnings that it is improper and offensive to spread butter on a croissant, dunk a croissant in coffee, or cut it in half lengthwise and put a sausage inside of it. All things American tourists do. Knowing that this will make the Americans angry, the menus also refer to an old French law which allows restaurants to determine their own punishment for croissant violations, ranging from charging extra to remove the person's butter and coffee to having the patron physically removed from the restaurant. all actions that will receive the full support of the local French police. If you're planning a trip to France for the Olympics this summer, be prepared to eat your croissant French or else. Okay, so the French are so mad at American tourists for spreading butter on croissants, dunking croissants, making them into croissantwiches, that they have a law that they're now enforcing to force Americans not to do that anymore. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
Well, I hate to say that I believe it's real, but I understand that the French want things done their way and not the American way. So I'm going to say it's true.
Oh, so Karen says it's true. All right, Karen says it's true. Be prepared when you go to France this summer. John, how about you?
I'm going to say it's a bluff. I mean, the French have a certain way about what they do and what they believe in and so on and so forth. But I don't think that they would restrict Americans from doing what they have been doing. So I'm going to say it's a bluff.
Oh, so you don't think the French would restrict Americans from doing what they're doing? And John says it's a bluff. Karen says that's a real story. Let's check with the judges. And the judges suggest that I light a cigarette and do my best French accent and say, oh, ho, ho, ho. Congratulations, John. You're right. It's a bluff.
All right. Okay. Very good. That was good, Paul. That was very good.
Very good. Very good. Well, John, you won. You got all three.
Yeah,
Wow,
wait, even with all the glitches earlier on, getting our show started there, Karen and Paul, somehow I was able to get all three right. So I'll have to make sure I relay the information to Annette. And we won't have to do any studying this week.
That's
that's right. But we are going to get rid of the glitches, John. So you're not going to get any help from the glitches next week.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of this week's episode of What in the World. 15 minutes after we normally record, but that's okay. And we apologize for the glitches and apologize for calling out to my assistant producer for her help today. But the lovely Donna is always willing to help out with the show. So I want to thank Karen Hale, our media mogul, our co-producer, our producer, our co-host, thank you for all the wonderful things you do for What in the World, including sponsoring our show with Yes I Can Coaching. Is that right? There we go.
Right.
Yes I Can Coaching with Karen. If you need coaching of any kind, check out newclevelandradio.net. Karen's got it right up there and how you can contact her for that. Also, there's links to all of the great podcasts that Karen has on the platform, as well as ours. What in the World. You can find us in all kind of places, all the familiar places for podcast, including YouTube, where you can see all the great photos. John, we want to thank John DiNallo, our other co-host, our color commentator, sports guy, all around good guy. John, thanks for putting up with not being able to see the photos this week, but you did a great job.
Oh, thank you, Paul and Karen. Not a problem, and I'm sure we'll get our the glitch squared away, and we'll be ready to go full swing next week.
Absolutely. Full swing. That's exactly right. That's what we will be doing that next week. And as always, last but not least, we want to thank all of our listeners out there, listeners, watchers, whatever you might be. You're the reason why we do the show every week. We always have a good time. We hope that good time passes on to you, because that's what we need in the world today is more good times, less bad news, less weird news, less troublesome news. Let's have some fun for an hour. And that's what in the World is all about, having some fun, looking at the strange and weird things that happen around the world. We don't want to make fun of anybody. We want to just enjoy talking about it and having a good time with the weird stories. I'm going to go see if I can find myself an unidentified driving object and go driving around in today, because it's still nice outside. I'll drive around with the top down, maybe.
Sounds good.
And on that note, I think we're finished, Karen.
We're just about finished, but I want to give a big shout out to JC Shelton. She's an Ohio girl, Ohio State University graduate, and she plays for the Dallas Wings. She's a rookie, and she is scoring. So check her out.
Oh, and she's from Ohio. That's even better.
She's from the Cleveland area. So
wow.
And
she's just
Dallas
down the street.
Our honorary WNBA team, since we don't have one in Cleveland. So we've adopted Dallas Wings, and they're a great team. They play hard. Let's say
they certainly do.
So yeah, And now we've got a local connection to it as well. So great.
All right.
While we're talking about Texas,
Yes.
please, everybody down in Texas, we hope you get your power back soon, and hope the flooding and all the other damage has spared all of you. And that's all I got to say about that.
Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
You know what, next week. Take care.
Bye.